unbelievable as Simon Ekpa's shocking message to enemies leaves everyone in awe. Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of Biafra, reveals that he and his leader, Nnamdi Kanu, have done extensive underground work to expose and combat the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, though many are unaware of their efforts. He mentions forming alliances with World Congress and other organizations to address Christian persecution, linking their activism to international responses, including Nigeria's blacklisting under Donald Trump. Simon Ekpa states that his main reason for joining the Biafra movement is to leave a lasting legacy and be remembered as a key figure in the struggle. He emphasizes his unwavering commitment, consistently producing videos, live streams, and advocacy content, despite facing obstacles like social media bans and criticisms. Simon Ekpa claims that if his leader were present today, he would fully support new protest movements, such as another End SARS-like uprising against the Nigerian government. He expresses frustration at some supporters' lack of urgency, stating he is desperate for Biafra's success and willing to collaborate with anyone who shares that goal. He addresses internal disputes within the movement, criticizing individuals who attack him due to jealousy, misinformation, or personal grievances. Simon Ekpa discusses a former supporter who, after attacking him publicly, decided to quit the Biafra struggle instead of admitting wrongdoing, suggesting spiritual consequences for betrayal. He urges supporters to remain committed to the struggle, warning against distractions and division, while also calling on those who have left to return. I want to share with you a story that has been echoing in my mind ever since I first heard it. A story of determination, passion, and a struggle that goes far beyond what most of us see on the surface. It is a story about Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra movement, and the powerful message he delivered that left not only his enemies, but also many onlookers in deep awe. I still remember the moment when I came across his message. It felt as though I had been invited into a private conversation with someone who was not only a leader, but also a deeply committed warrior for justice. In that moment, I could sense the weight of every word, the pain of every sacrifice, and the unyielding resolve to fight for what he believed was right. Simon Ekpa's voice reached out to his audience in a way that was both warm and commanding. He began by greeting everyone in a manner that was as inclusive as it was heartfelt. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and even good night. His message was not just meant for those in one time zone or for a particular group of people. It was for every single person who cared about the plight of the persecuted in Nigeria. His platform, which he fondly referred to as his television show, was more than just a medium to share opinions. It was a meeting place for hearts and minds that had long been touched by the deep scars of injustice. Over the years, many have come to know Simon Ekpa as a tireless advocate for change, but few fully understand the journey he has undertaken to reach this point. Alongside his respected leader, Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa has dedicated himself to work that has remained largely hidden from the public eye. Together, they have engaged in extensive underground activities aimed at exposing and combating the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, a struggle that, for many, is shrouded in silence and misunderstanding. It is important to note that this battle is not about stirring up chaos or promoting violence. Instead, it is about shining a light on a deep injustice, urging awareness, and mobilizing those who believe that every human being deserves respect and dignity. I recall Simon Ekpa explaining that much of what he and Nnamdi Kanu have done has involved forming critical alliances with influential organizations such as the World Congress and several other groups dedicated to defending the rights of those facing religious persecution. In his own words, he reminded us that the work they have done in secret is often bigger than what meets the eye. There is a lesson embedded in his statement. Sometimes, the things we are unaware of can have a far greater impact on our lives and our society than the issues that are right in front of us. This resonated with me deeply. It reminded me that every effort, every small act of resistance is part of a larger tapestry. A tapestry that, when viewed as a whole, reveals a narrative of resilience, hope, and the unquenchable desire for freedom. As he continued, Simon Ekpa spoke about a very personal reason for his involvement in the struggle for Biafra. More than anything, he wished to leave behind a legacy, one that would forever be remembered as a cornerstone in the fight for justice and the advancement of African civilization. He did not want his contributions to be fleeting or forgotten. He wanted his name to stand alongside those historical figures who have changed the course of nations. Every day, without fail, he poured his energy into creating new content, be it short videos, extended live streams, or impassioned advocacy messages. Even when faced with obstacles such as social media bans and widespread criticism, his commitment never wavered. I found this particularly moving because it underscored his belief that the pursuit of justice often requires personal sacrifice and unwavering consistency. In one part of his message, Simon Ekpa explained how, had his esteemed leader Nnamdi Kanu been present, he would have readily supported a new protest movement. He drew parallels to previous mass movements like the End SARS protests, movements that emerged in response to oppressive governmental practices. The End SARS protests, as many of you might know, were a significant moment in Nigeria's recent history, where citizens rose up against systemic abuse. Simon Ekpa's unwavering support for such movements was not merely rhetorical. It was a testament to his genuine desire to see change, no matter how challenging the path might be. His words painted a picture of a leader who, despite all the hardships he faced, remained ever ready to stand up for what was right, even if it meant going head-to-head with an entire system that had long suppressed voices of dissent. What struck me most during that conversation was Simon Ekpa's candor about the internal conflicts that sometimes threaten to undermine the unity of any movement. He did not shy away from addressing the bitter reality that, within the struggle, there are those who allow jealousy, misinformation, and personal grievances to cloud their judgment. In a particularly striking moment, he recounted an incident involving a former supporter, a person who had once been an ally but eventually chose to publicly attack him. Instead of taking responsibility for that mistake or admitting that the anger was misdirected, this individual decided to abandon the Biafra struggle entirely. Simon Ekpa suggested that such a decision might carry a heavy spiritual cost, a consequence that goes beyond the realm of human judgment and into the very soul of what it means to be true to one's cause. This reflection led him to a heartfelt plea for unity among his supporters. He urged everyone involved in the struggle not to be distracted by petty squabbles or divided by internal disputes. Instead, he called on them to focus on the larger goal, a goal that transcends individual ambitions and speaks to the collective desire for a better, freer future for Nigeria and indeed for Africa as a whole. Listening to him, I felt a profound sense of solidarity and responsibility. It became clear that the fight for justice is not just about winning battles, but about staying true to one's principles, even when the pressure to compromise is immense. Simon Ekpa's dedication is palpable in every word he speaks. He described how he had never allowed himself even a single day of complacency since he began his work, making sure to keep his audience informed with live broadcasts that sometimes stretched on for hours. He emphasized that his consistency in reaching out to the people was not born out of a desire for popularity or personal gain. Instead, it was driven by a deep-seated need to hold the line against forces that for too long had ignored or dismissed the plight of those who had been wronged. There is a kind of heroism in that level of commitment, a heroism that demands both physical and emotional resilience. It is not lost on me that Simon Ekpa's fight is not an isolated one. The struggle for freedom and dignity, particularly in regions where governmental abuses and systemic persecution are rampant, is a battle fought on many fronts. The persecution of Christians in Nigeria is one such issue that has stirred global outrage and condemnation. In international circles, the actions taken by the Nigerian government have not gone unnoticed. Simon Ekpa pointed out that their underground work, especially in forming alliances with organizations like the World EO Congress, has contributed in ways that even reached as far as influencing decisions on the global stage. Decisions such as the blacklisting of Nigeria by the administration of President Donald Trump in the United States. Although such measures might have been controversial, they represented a tangible acknowledgement that the international community was paying attention. Throughout his message, Simon Ekpa maintained a tone that was both firm and empathetic. He recognized the sacrifices that had been made by so many in the name of progress and freedom. And he stressed that every supporter, every activist, must keep their focus on the ultimate objective. The call for unity was not just a plea for political alignment, it was a reminder that personal ambitions and internal disputes are the very things that can derail a movement. He likened the struggle to a battlefield where, in the midst of chaos and danger, the true measure of one's commitment is not just about fighting for oneself, but about extending a helping hand to a comrade in distress, even if that means risking one's own safety in the process. There was one particularly moving analogy that Simon Ekpa shared, one that has stayed with me ever since. He described a scenario on a war-torn battlefield where, even under heavy gunfire, a soldier who is still conscious and fighting is given a chance to survive by the comrades who rush to his aid. In that moment, the leader stressed, the difference between victory and defeat often hinges on the willingness of each individual to support the other without hesitation. This analogy was not just a call to action. It was a poignant reminder that in the struggle for justice, every person counts, and every act of solidarity can make all the difference. At the heart of Simon Ekpa's message was a deep-seated desire to see the Biafra movement not only survive but thrive. He spoke with a sense of urgency that bordered on desperation, a desperation born from years of witnessing the slow march of injustice and the suffering of countless people who had been marginalized. His call was clear. If you truly believe in the cause, if you are committed to the ideals of freedom, justice, and the dignity of every human being, then you must stand with him, even when the road ahead seems insurmountable. Yet, it was not only his passion for justice that resonated with me. It was also the personal sacrifices he had made along the way. Simon Ekpa did not present himself as a flawless hero. Instead, he admitted that the journey was fraught with difficulties, days when he had been forced to endure the harsh realities of social media bans, unjust criticisms, and the ever-looming threat of personal harm. Despite all of this, he persisted. He chose to live every day as though it were a testament to his commitment to the cause, refusing to be silenced or deterred by external forces that sought to undermine his efforts. I found myself reflecting on the notion of legacy as Simon Ekpa spoke about it. In today's fast-paced world, where trends come and go and the news cycle moves at breakneck speed, the idea of leaving behind something lasting is both rare and profoundly moving. For him, joining the struggle for Biafra was never about fleeting fame or transient victories. It was about ensuring that his name, along with the names of countless others who had risked everything, would be etched in history as the ones who dared to challenge an unjust system. He wanted future generations to look back and recognize that there was a time when individuals, ordinary people with extraordinary courage, rose up to demand change, to demand a world where every person is treated with respect and fairness. At one point in his message, Simon Ekpa recounted how he had transitioned from making short 5-minute videos to engaging in extended live sessions that sometimes lasted for hours. He explained that this was not simply a change in format, it was a reflection of the deepening of his commitment. Each live session was an opportunity for him to reach out directly to his supporters, to share his thoughts without any filters, and to build a community of like-minded individuals who were all working toward a common goal. His relentless schedule was a testament to the idea that in the face of overwhelming odds, giving up was never an option. Even when his social media accounts faced arbitrary suspensions, or when critics attempted to cast doubt on his motives, he never wavered. Instead, he doubled down on his efforts, confident that every piece of content he produced was a step toward the realization of a greater vision. There is a part of me that wonders how difficult it must be to remain steadfast when confronted with such relentless opposition. I can only imagine the toll it takes on one's spirit and mental fortitude to continuously face backlash, not just from external adversaries, but sometimes from those who should be allies. Simon Ekpa did not mince words when he addressed the issue of internal dissent. He spoke of individuals within the movement who, driven by jealousy or personal grievances, attacked him instead of working together for the greater good. In one particularly poignant moment, he mentioned a former supporter who, after publicly denouncing his actions, decided to abandon the Biafra struggle altogether. Rather than acknowledging the mistake or seeking to mend fences, this individual chose to walk away, a decision that Simon Ekpa believed would not go without spiritual consequence. That moment of vulnerability and candor was perhaps one of the most powerful parts of his message. It was a reminder that the journey toward justice is rarely a straight path. There are moments of triumph, but there are also moments of deep personal hurt, moments when one must confront the reality that not everyone who claims to share the same vision is willing to fight for it. Simon Ekpa's response to such betrayals was not one of anger alone. It was a call for introspection. He urged those who had left the struggle to consider the weight of their decisions, to remember that the fight for freedom is not one that can be abandoned at the first sign of difficulty. As I listened, I began to see the struggle for Biafra as a microcosm of the larger fight for freedom across Africa. A fight that encompasses not just political or economic challenges, but also deeply personal battles for identity, dignity, and justice. Simon Ekpa's message was, at its core, a plea for unity. He stressed that the success of the Biafra movement depended on every individual's willingness to stand together, to support one another, and to rise above the petty differences that too often divide us. In a world that is increasingly polarized, his words served as a beacon of hope, a reminder that true strength lies in solidarity.
Why should we be campaigning? Why should we be campaigning for the Christians in Nigeria? A lot of you don't know. First of all, when we started this whole thing, me and our leader have done a lot of underground work when it comes to sensitization and when it comes to forming alliances with people that has to do with something that has to do with the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know this. That is why I have always said that something you don't know is bigger than you. You see, something you don't know is bigger than you. When you see me, I'm not saying you should agree with everything I do. Okay, I'm not saying you should agree with. I'm not saying you should agree. I'm not saying you should agree with everything I say, but what I'm telling you now is that me, personally, and our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we have done underground work a lot towards the the protection or towards the exposition of the killings against Christians, the killings of Christians in Nigeria. There are a lot of things we have done that I will not go into details to explain to you here. But, and in those times, when we were, doing this thing, some of you may have watched before the NSAS protest of last year. Before the NSAS protest of last year, we started we started something with the World Igbo Congress. And with that World Igbo Congress, we have a team, we have organization that their focus was on the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Okay? And when we were having this whole thing, we have target. Some of you don't know, especially some people now who parade themselves as officers or whatever. They don't know all these things. They don't know. But those things are in public domain. They don't know because they were not interested in what the Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing. Most of the things he is doing, some of the people are not interested. Okay? So we had this group with World Igbo Congress. We set up this movement, and Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was 120% in support of it. We had series of meetings, and the World Igbo Congress will be witness to what I'm saying today. Before the NSAS protest, this was set up. This also went to, when the election, American election, during the election of the general election, the presidential election of US, of America, it was part of the reason Donald Trump enlisted Nigeria, blacklisted Nigeria as a state that persecutes Christians. These are process. These are achievements that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have somehow, been able to. This is one of the achievements Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, his activities, has been able to achieve. A lot of people don't know this. So whatever I'm not going to begin to explain these whole things because it is quite appalling, very, very appalling that we have followed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. For those who have followed him since 2012, until today, you don't know what he can do. You don't know the kind of decision Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can take. It is very disappointing. It is very disappointing. And if you don't know, for those of you who may not know, let me explain again. I said, last year, we started a movement, which World Igbo Congress was part of it. Christian organization was part of it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was part of it. Simon Ekpa was part of it. We had series of meetings and series of things were done. A lot of things were done. And during those times, Donald Trump blacklisted Nigeria as a country that persecutes Christians. So the issue of, apart from that, other people in Nigeria, other people in Nigeria have gone also very far. A lot of you don't know what I'm saying now. A lot of you know. But like I've always said, sometimes when we are making these things, don't just, even if you hate me as a person, I am not doing this to gain anything. The only reason I have joined the struggle for Biafra is one. I want my name to be among those that will be in the history book for good, for Biafra. I want to make a name that each time you want to talk about those who bring Biafra, I want to be there. I don't want to be a Sabo in Biafra. I want to be part of those that will be that you will talk about Africa, where country that started the civilization of Africa. I want my name, Simon Ekpa, to be there. That is my first major aim of joining this struggle. Another thing that follows is that I want, I want that I am among those who will prove to the world that Africa can be better. That country in Africa, that is a country that can lay a foundation of civilization in Africa. That was my major reason for joining Biafra struggle. I want to leave a legacy. Good legacy. Not legacy of Ifejuna. Not legacy of that you cannot even see the name anywhere. I want to leave a legacy. Okafa Kego. My own thing is that I want to leave a legacy. And all of you that have followed me from the beginning, all of you that followed me from the beginning, when I started with everything in me. With everything in me, including money, time, and everything. Everything in me. I have not deviated. I am still putting everything in me. In fact, when I joined this struggle, I was making videos. 5-minute videos. Posting it. 5 minutes. I was making 5-minute video. Sometimes some people begin to say, why is he making 3 video every day? Why is he making 3 video every day? From making that 3 video of 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 6 minutes, which from that video you will understand what I'm doing. I transited into making live videos. I started making live videos. 3 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, and stuff like that. And ever since then, I have not showed any spirit of Idamba. I have never, there has never been any day since I started this struggle. I have never stayed 2 days. Since the day I started live video, I have never stayed 2 days without coming live. I've never stayed 2 days. The only time I stayed 2 days or more than 2 days was when Facebook started their rubbish to suspend and close my account and all that. So since then till now, I have been very, very consistent. Consistency. I am not the type that will go today and wait for come out today and wait for somebody to come and do something before I come live to do. No. There are a lot of things to talk about Nigeria. So in case you don't know, since I started live video, I have never rested for 2 days. I have made live video and even sometimes I made live video 4 times in a day. 4 times. I come live 4 times, sometimes 3 times in a day. Now, when I start talking about these Christians, if our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is here today with us, he is going to support these Christians. Sit at home. It doesn't matter. Because he is a man who have done it in the past. And if the opportunity comes again, he is going to do it again. If our leader is here today and there is another EndSARS protest, he is going to support it. He's going to support it. Again, he EndSARS. You see this EndSARS that they try to put over, they say Igbo people, Igbo have hijacked, Biafra have hijacked. If our leader is here today and there is another EndSARS protest, he is going to support it. He is going to support it. That is the person I know. That is Mazen Nnamdi Kanu that I know. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will support anything that the masses of Nigeria will gather to fight against Nigeria or to protest against Nigeria. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will be the #1 person to support it. So, what is your problem when you see that a Christian, somebody who comes from the north, is stretching the hand of fellowship? You know, what are we shouting for every day? What are we shouting for? We have been shouting for Northerner, wake up, Northerner, wake up. We have been shouting for Southern Kaduna, wake up, Middle Belt, wake up. And you see a kepu, you see kepu, that the people you are trying to wake up, they are raising their hand up like this. What do you do? What do you do? You rush and grab the hand. That is me. I am very, very desperate for Biafra. I am desperate. I don't know about you. It's like some of you are enjoying the show. You are enjoying the struggle. Only you know what you are enjoying in the struggle. Only you know what you are enjoying in the struggle. I don't know what you are enjoying. Because at me, I don't know what I'm enjoying. That every day I come here to stand to speak for 3 hours, for 4 hours. Is that enjoyment? I don't know what I'm enjoying. So I am too desperate, too desperate for Biafra. So if I see somebody raising his hand, and if I see somebody dying, and I know that the person is going to be a very big commander, that if this person get up and get himself, he is going to contribute in the struggle when it comes to that we are fighting war of gun and bullet. What do you do? What do you do when you are saying, oh John, you are down, they shot me? What do? You look back. Are you going to leave that person to die? If the person is still moving, you don't leave the person. What you do is that once the person do hand like this, you run. Even in the middle of a heavy gunshot, you run, try to save the person. You grab the person and you try to drag the person. That is how this thing is going to be. We are not going to win Nigeria by ourselves. My brother, you don't know what is in this struggle. You don't know. Some of you are just follow. You don't know what it takes to get freedom. You don't know. You don't know what it takes to get freedom. Some of you don't have you don't even have job experience. You don't have complete good work experience. You don't have. You come here to insult somebody who is trying to make headway. If you know what it takes to get freedom, all of you by now should be hiding in shame because you are disgracing Biafra. You are disgracing Biafra. You are disgracing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You are disgracing him. This is not the people he groomed. You are not one of the people that you don't listen to him. You don't follow him. Because you cannot be following Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and then you see Simon Ekpa posting about 7 days in support of what somebody say for Christians, and you are kicking against it because of your hatred, jealousy, that some of you did not even have the jealousy, but because I have been able to expose your scam. So, in other words, you are not even interested in the Biafra. You are only interested in the money, in the scam, how you are scamming our people with your anonymous. And some people will come and boy, they will be laying courses. You see, that's our brother that did that video. You see, somebody sent me another video of him today. He said that this will be the last post he will do. This will be the last post he will do on Biafra. So they have ended his Biafra career. They have ended his just because of the envy and jealousy. They compelled him to attack Simon Ekpa instead of him to just, not to himself, to apologize to the gods for coming to accuse Simon Ekpa wrongly. He decided to abandon Biafra struggle. He said today will be the last video he is going to make for Biafra. My brother, is God not wonderful? I said, if you want to end your end, attack me. Attack me. It is happening. It is happening. Instead of him to make peace with his God and his conscience, when he know he have done something very wrong, he decided to quit Biafra. He decided to quit Biafra struggle. Go to his page. Somebody sent it to me. He says, somebody said, Simon, so this our brother is quitting. Instead of him to acknowledge that I have been misled, they have come to lie to me to attack you. Even he can even come and mention the person that approached him to attack Simon Ekpa, so that God will will wash away all his sin. He don't want to do it because he is too ashamed. He is too ashamed after he have sat down and listened to what he did to himself. After he has sat down and watched himself, he decided to quit. He cannot even take the bullet. He cannot even take the bullet like I'm taking. He cannot, in fact, he cannot even take, I have been taking bullet for almost 1 month now. Almost 1 month. I have been taking bullet. Or whether if it is not I have been taking bullet for almost 1 month. And his own is just 2 days. Just yesterday. Today he's already announcing today is going to be the last video. If you cannot take the bullet, why are you shooting gun to somebody? You see, I told you people that this will be the last, yesterday will be the last time, but I'm not addressing something. I'm just using what has happened to teach people to learn from mistake of others. Spiritual bullet. You see? So I want you people to understand what is going on. This our brother who, so personally, I told you people that are listening. And why he's the only person I have shown his video here. He is the only person I have played his video here. All of you watching me, have you ever seen me playing any video of any Biafra agitator trying to address the person? I've never done it. I've never done it. He is the only person I've played his video here. And the reason I played his video, is that I like the way he speaks Igbo. I like it. And I was so disappointed for somebody like him, for somebody to approach him to come and do something like that. Because I know a lot of people that I have approached. They refuse. And they told me that they refused. So why will he now abandon Biafra struggle? Please tell him not to abandon Biafra struggle. He must not abandon. Who will he abandon? All the people that were killed, like he said. Who is he abandoning their corpse and their ghosts to? Their ghosts, they are going to haunt him. Tell him he must come back to finish what he started. If you are not ready, don't come out. If you are not ready, don't come out. You must finish. I am promoting him. I don't mind promoting him. Yes, I am promoting him. That's what, it is. I don't have a spirit of pull him down. I have a spirit of lifting up. Okay? So if this is going to promote him and make him to come back to the struggle, let him come back. But when he come back, he must learn his lesson. He must come back. Go back to his page, tell him he must come back. He cannot run away. Because it is quite disappointing that today he is making a video. This will be the last video I will make on Biafra. He said, Biafra, good luck. Good luck, Biafra, good luck. Instead of him to accept that he has made a mistake apologize to God. It is not me. I will not be the one, because that course he laid on the video, we follow him. And it doesn't matter where, if you go in secret, go and say, God, please forgive me for this. God will never forgive you. He has to come to public, bring that alligator pepper, and reverse that offer that offer against people that are doing bad, against people that are sabotaging the struggle, and he become part of them. So I don't want anything to happen to him. I don't want anything to happen to him. I want him to come back to this struggle. He cannot cause wahala and run away. No. You have to be part of it.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.